Yo, what's up guys, it's King Sean here, back with another video, and in today's video, just coming out you guys with a quick video here on Saturday. I want to bring you guys a breakdown of the Commanders 2024 practice squad, basically just discussing, each player that made the practice squad. So, if you guys are new to my channel, leave a like down below, subscribe, turn on notifications. I'm on the road to 4K subs, so if you could, hit that sub button, I'd really appreciate it. And with that out of the way, let's get straight into the video. Alright, so this is the practice squad here. We're going to start from the top, work our way down to the bottom, starting with Casper Allen. It's actually kind of funny because he's listed here as a running back, which, they were kind of trying him at running back during, training camp practices. And they actually were giving him running back snaps in the Dolphins and the Patriots preseason games. But ultimately, I think they really wanted to keep Casper Allen on the roster, but he just wasn't showing enough. And even last year, I was really excited when we picked up Casper Allen last year as an undrafted free agent. I thought he would, maybe possibly make the squad as our kick returner or punt returner. He's pretty fast. He's kind of quick. But other than that, he just doesn't provide a lot. He can't, ball security is a big thing with Cas Allen, and that's a big flaw of his. He fumbled a ball against the Dolphins in our preseason game with them this year. And last year, he muffed the punt, I'm pretty sure, or dropped the punt against the Bengals in our preseason game with them last year. So, Casper Allen, ball security is a really, really, really big flaw of his. And I feel like that's one of the main reasons as to why we cut him and put him on the practice squad. And also, he's just not that good. He just doesn't provide a lot. He's not a great returner, not a great receiver. So, he just doesn't provide a lot, which is why I feel like, we cut him. But we did bring him back to the practice squad because I know we really wanted to keep him, but just didn't show a lot to make the 53-man roster, so we stashed him on the practice squad. I think we probably use, one of our protection slots on him. Like, teams can protect 4 players on the practice squad from getting picked up by another team, so we probably, protected him. But Casper Allen, that's probably the reason as to why, he made the practice squad, got released. Cornerback Chig Newsome, he didn't really do much this training camp preseason, so that's not a shock that he got released. Julian Good-Jones, I call him not so good Jones because he's just not good, okay? Was never a big fan of Julian Good-Jones. I honestly don't know why, we gave him snaps over Ricky Stromberg. I like Ricky Stromberg over Good-Jones. Neither of them made the roster. Well, Stromberg is kind of back on the team. He is back on the team. He went unclaimed. We put an injury designation on him, so he's on IR right now for the first 4 games of the season, and then if we want to bring him back, take him off of IR, we can after the first 4 weeks and bring him on the active roster. So there's that. But I'm not surprised that Julian Good-Jones got cut. He was pretty bad in training camp and preseason. Sam Hartman, he was never going to make the roster. I'm not sure why some fans thought he kind of had a chance to make the roster. Let's be honest, y'all. He was never going to make this team. I like Sam Hartman. He's a pretty good guy to have on your practice squad, but he was just never, ever going to make the team. He also suffered a shoulder injury. So, that kind of his chances to make the roster were already low, but suffering that shoulder injury just made them hit absolute rock bottom. So Sam Hartman was probably never going to make this roster. Andre Jones Jr., not surprised he got cut. We decided to keep Jamin Davis over him and KJ. Well, that's not a surprise. I wouldn't say Jamin Davis. I would say we decided to keep Javonte Jean-Baptiste over Andre Jones and KJ Henry, which KJ Henry, kind of a shock that we didn't keep him on the 53-man roster, but Andre Jones is not a shock. He just hasn't done much, this year, didn't do much last year, so not a shock that we cut him. Hagagi Nabudizi, I don't know how to pronounce his name. I'm sorry if I butchered that, I probably did, but not a surprise that he didn't make the roster. Chris Rodriguez Jr., not surprised that he didn't make the roster. He got put on the practice squad. He just didn't show much this year. He showed some stuff last year, but during this training camp preseason, he didn't show anything. Jeremy McNichols, he made the roster, and then Michael Wiley, he's on the practice squad. We'll talk about him in a bit. They, were better than him this training camp and preseason, so, the writing was on the wall for Chris Rodriguez Jr. Honestly, I always knew he just wasn't going to make this team. Next up, you have 2 wide receivers, Mitchell Tinsley and Bryson Tremaine. They just didn't show enough. Bryson Tremaine, he was looking good in training camp, but he just didn't do much in our preseason games. I think he only had, 3 or 4 total catches in the preseason games. Mitchell Tinsley actually had 4 or 5 against the Patriots, but just wasn't enough to make the roster. He also had that potential game-winning touch. He dropped the potential game-winning touchdown against the Dolphins, so, that just eliminates your chance, lowers your chance of making the roster. So not surprised that we cut those two, but we did decide to bring them back on the practice squad, which is pretty good. I like Mitchell Tinsley. He showed some stuff last year. I mean, he made the roster last year. He was really good in the preseason and training camp last year, but just couldn't, show out this training camp and preseason, especially in the preseason. Just didn't make enough plays in order to make the roster. Then you have Cole Turner. He was terrible this training camp preseason, dropping passes left to right, leading to turnovers. I mean, one of our training camp practices, I think it was against the Dolphins actually, he dropped the pass, and I think Marcus May of the Dolphins picked the ball off, and it was a pass from Jaden Daniels, so that interception was just not on Jaden Daniels at all. So Cole Turner, he was really bad this preseason training camp, but we did decide to bring him on the practice squad. Not gonna lie, that kind of shocked me, because we did try to trade him before we had to, set our roster to 53 men. So kind of shocked that we decided to bring him back on the practice squad. But hey, might as well, I guess. And then we signed Carlo Watkins to our practice squad. I'm honestly not sure who that is exactly. I tried to do some research on him. I might do some more later, but we did sign him to our practice squad. He is a defensive end. I'm pretty sure an interior defensive lineman. So, that's more depth because we traded John Ridgeway away. Johnny Newton, he's still injured, although there is some optimism going into, game week that he should be able to play against the Bucks. But if not, we do have some depth on our practice squad in Carlo Watkins. And then Michael Wiley, I feel like he was going to make the roster over Jeremy McNichols. Now, I could kind of see why, they decided to keep Jeremy McNichols ahead of Michael Wiley. I would have, chosen Michael Wiley over Jeremy McNichols because he was just flat out better than McNichols in preseason. But, Jeremy McNichols, he offers more special team, work. So that's kind of why they decided to keep him over Michael Wiley. Like I said, would have kept Michael Wiley over Jeremy McNichols, but it is what it is. I am glad that we kept him. We brought Michael Wiley back on our practice squad. And then finally, we signed two more guys to our practice squad, one linebacker, one cornerback. Let's start with the linebacker, Jalen Graham. He was drafted by the 49ers last year, 2023 NFL draft. So you see the connection right there. Adam Peters, obviously, he was the 49ers assistant GM for the past 6-7 years, maybe even longer than that. So the connection's right there. I can see why we brought him onto the practice squad. And then we also signed cornerback Bobby Price to the practice squad. He was with the Lions for like 5 years, I'm pretty sure, or actually no, shorter amount of time, but he was signed by the Lions in undrafted free agency back in 2020. And you kind of see the connections there with him and Lance Newmark. Lance Newmark is our assistant GM. He was with the Lions for a long time as well. So you see the connections with those two practice squad signings. So that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like down below, subscribe, turn on notifications, comment down below what you guys think about these practice squad signings. And other than that, it's been King Sean, and I'm out. Peace.